إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله صلوات ربي وسلامه عليه وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم تسليما كثيرا يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله حق تقاته ولا تموتن إلا وأنتم مسلمون يا أيها الناس اتقوا ربكم الذي خلقكم من نفس واحدة وخلق منها زوجها وبث منهما رجالا كثيرا ونساء واتقوا الله الذي تساءلون به والأرحام إن الله كان عليكم رقيبا يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله وقولوا قولا سديدا يصلح لكم أعمالكم ويغفر لكم ذنوبكم ومن يطع الله ورسوله فقد فاز فوزا عظيما أما بعد فإن أصدق الحديث كتاب الله وأحسن الهدى هدى محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم وشر الأمور محدثاتها فكل محدثة بدعة وكل بدعة ضلالة وكل ضلالة في النار. عباد Allah, indeed belief in the divine decree of Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala, it is a pillar amongst the pillars of al-Iman, without which your Iman, it will not be sound, it will not be correct. And this is based upon the well-known Hadeeth of Jibril, wherein Jibril asked the Messenger of Allah alayhi salatu wasalam regarding Iman. And he mentioned sallallahu alayhi wa sallam that Iman is an tu'mina billah wa malaikatihi wa kutubihi wa rusulihi wa yawm al-akhiri wa tu'mina bil qadri khayrihi wa sharrih. It is that you believe in Allah, His angels, His books, His messengers. You believe in the last day. And likewise that you believe in the divine decree, it's good as well as it's evil. And the evidence is for the obligation of belief in the divine decree of Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala, in the book of Allah, and the sunnah of the Messenger alayhi salatu wasalam are 2 minutes to count. And amongst them there's the statement of Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala when He said, إِنَّ كُلَّ شَيْءٍ خَلَقْنَاهُ بِقَدْرٍ. Indeed all things we have created by way of the divine decree of Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala. So the Iman of an individual is not correct unless he believes in all 6 of the pillars of al-Iman, and amongst them is belief in the divine decree. And your belief in the divine decree, it is not complete unless it has along with it 4 affairs. The first of them, ibadallah, is to believe in the ilm Allah al-shamil. You believe in the all-encompassing knowledge of Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala, the comprehensive knowledge of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And this is that you believe that Allah Ta'ala knows everything that was, everything that is, everything that will be. He even knows those things that will not be and how they would have been had they been. You must believe, ibad Allah, that Allah Ta'ala has knowledge of all of these affairs, all of these matters. Secondly, that you believe in the writing of Allah Ta'ala, that not only did your Lord know all things before they came into existence, He likewise wrote them 50,000 years before the creation of the heavens and the earth. And this is that Allah Ta'ala mentioned in the side of His book, wherein He said, وَعِنْدَهُ مَفَاتِحُ الْغَيْبِ لَا يَعْلَمُهَا إِلَّا هُ. And with Allah Ta'ala are the keys of the unseen, none knows them except Him. وَيَعْلَمُ مَا فِي الْبَرِّ وَالْبَحْرِ. He knows what is upon land and what is at sea. وَمَا تَسْقُطُ مِنْ وَرَقَةٍ إِلَّا يَعْلَمُهَا وَلَا حَبَّةٍ فِي ظُلُمَاتِ الْأَرْضِ وَلَا رَطْبَةٍ وَلَا رَطْبٍ وَلَا يَابِسٍ إِلَّا فِي كِتَابٍ مُبِينٍ. He likewise said, Tabaraka wa Ta'ala, and Allah Ta'ala knows what is on land, what is at sea, and no leaf falls, except that it falls by way of His knowledge, nor any seed that grows in the darkness of the earth, nor anything moist, nor anything dry, except that it is inside of a clear book. Likewise, ibad Allah, you must believe in the irada wal mashi'a. You must believe in the wanting and the will of Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala. It is that the servant believes that whatever occurs in this universe, nothing occurs in this universe except that it occurs by way of the will of Allah wa ta'ala. Had Allah not willed it, it would not occur. Had Allah not wanted that thing to happen and occur, it would not happen. As Allah Ta'ala mentioned in the side of his book, وَمَا تَشَاءُونَ إِلَّا أَن يَشَاءَ اللَّهُ إِنَّ اللَّهَ كَانَ عَلِيمًا حَكِيمًا. And you cannot will anything except that Allah Ta'ala first wills it. Allah even wills your will. You cannot will anything except that Allah Ta'ala first wills it. Indeed, Allah Ta'ala, He is the all-knowledgeable and the all-wise. So everything that occurs about Allah, of rising of some, lowering of others, sickness of some, the good health of others, all of that occurs by the will of Allah wa ta'ala. And fourthly, ibad Allah, you must believe in the khalq wal ijad, Allah's creation of all affairs and is bringing them into existence. That everything that happens, everything that occurs, Allah Ta'ala is its originator. Allah Ta'ala created it and brought everything into existence before it happens and before it occurs. These are the levels and the pillars of belief in the divine decree of Allah wa ta'ala. And our belief in the divine decree about Allah, it brings about for us fruits. It has benefits in our lives if only we believe in Allah's divine decree properly and correctly. Just as not believing in Allah's divine decree, it is a detriment to all of us. It is a detriment to our belief system. It will harm us in our livelihood. So from the fruits of iman in the divine decree of Allah wa ta'ala is رَدَّ الْإِنسَانُ أُمُورَهُ إِلَى رَبِّهِ لِأَنَّهُ إِذَا عَلَمَ أَنَّ كُلَّ الشَّيْء بِقَضَائِهِ وَقَدَرِهِ فَإِنَّهُ سَيَرْجِعُ إِلَى اللَّهِ فِي دَفْعِ الضَّرَّاءِ وَرَفْعِهَا. The first benefit that it has about Allah is that everything that occurs in your life, you will be able to relegate it back to Allah wa ta'ala, because you will know that everything happens by way of Allah's divine decree and is for ordainment. So whatever comes to you, whether it may be some type of misfortune in your life, whether it may be some type of a harm that came to you, whether you may lose good health, you may lose your wealth, maybe you go through a divorce, maybe you lose someone that you love, you will be able to relegate everything back to your Lord Tabaraka wa Ta'ala, because you know that it happens by way of Allah's divine decree. There's come on the authority of Abdullah bin Abbas radiyallahu anhuma that he said, كنت خلف النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم فقال, he said that I was behind the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam, meaning riding behind him upon the same animal. And he said to me, Ya ghulam, inni u'allimuka kalimat. He said, oh young man, I'm going to teach you some words. Ihfadallah yahfadhak. He said, firstly, be mindful of Allah, Allah shall preserve you. Ihfadallah tajirhu tujahak. He said, be mindful of Allah, safeguard the rights of Allah tabaraka wa ta'ala. Always be vigilantly mindful of your Lord. You're going to find him in front of you. The ulama say this means to guide you. Allah will be before you, guiding you. Barakallahu feekum. He said, إِذَا سَأَلْتَ فَاسْأَلِ اللَّهِ. And if you ask anyone, ask Allah tabaraka wa ta'ala. وَإِذَا اسْتَعَنْتَ فَاسْتَعِنْ بِاللَّهِ. If you seek the help of anyone, seek the help of Allah tabaraka wa ta'ala. وَاعْلَمْ أَنَّ الْأُمَّةَ لَوْ اجْتَمَعَتْ عَلَىٰ أَنْ يَنْفَعُوكَ بِشَيْءٍ لَمْ يَنْفَعُوكَ إِلَّا بِشَيْءٍ قَدْ كَتَبَهُ اللَّهُ لَكَ. And know that if the entirety of the ummah were to gather together to benefit you with anything, they will not benefit you with anything except that Allah Ta'ala has already written that benefit for you. وَإِنْ اجْتَمَعُوا عَلَىٰ أَنْ يَضُرُّوكَ بِشَيْءٍ. And if they gather together to harm you with anything, لَمْ يَضُرُّوكَ إِلَّا بِشَيْءٍ قَدْ كَتَبَهُ اللَّهُ عَلَيْكَ. They will not be able to harm you with anything except that Allah Ta'ala has already written that thing against you. رُفِيَتِ الْأَقْلَامِ وَجُفَّتِ الصُّحُفِ. For the pens have been lifted and the pages have dried. Likewise, ibad Allah, from the fruits and benefits of proper belief in the divine decree of Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala is that you will be grateful to Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala and you will be patient regarding calamities that hit you. Because you know that everything occurs by way of Allah's divine decree, and Allah Ta'ala is all wise. He puts everything in its proper place, and He is more merciful to you than you are to yourself. Allah Ta'ala mentioned in the side of His book, مَا أَصَابَ بِمُصِيبَةٍ فِي الْأَرْضِ وَلَا فِي أَنفُسِكُمْ إِلَّا فِي كِتَابٍ مِّن قَبْلِ أَن نَّبْرَأَهَا. And nothing befalls of calamity, neither in the earth nor in yourselves, except that it is in a book before we bring it into existence. إِنَّ ذَلِكَ عَلَى اللَّهِ يَسِيرٌ. Indeed, that is easy for Allah tabaraka wa ta'ala. Likewise, ibad Allah, from the benefits of belief in divine decree, proper belief in the divine decree of your Lord tabaraka wa ta'ala, is that it will make you fearless. It will make you courageous. You won't fear anything. And it will likewise make it such that you are not afraid to step forward to do what it is that you need to do. Because the one who believes in the divine decree of Allah tabaraka wa ta'ala, he will not be afraid of death. He will not fear death because he knows death will not come to him except at his appointed time. And that nothing will occur and happen to him except that the thing has already been written for him. Likewise, ibad Allah, proper belief in the divine decree of Allah tabaraka wa ta'ala, it will safeguard you and protect you from hasad, from envying others, and being jealous of others for what Allah ta'ala has decreed for them of blessings and favors. Allah ta'ala mentioned in the start of his book, أَمْ يَحْسُدُونَ النَّاسَ عَلَى مَا أَتَاهُمُ اللَّهُ مِنْ فَضْلِهِ. Or is it that they envy the people for that which Allah ta'ala has conferred upon them of His bounty and His favor? أقول ما سمعتم واستغفر الله لي ولكم فاستغفروه إنه غفور رحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين وصلى الله وسلم وبارك على المبعوث رحمة للعالمين نبينا وإمامنا محمد الأمين وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين وبعد. Likewise, ibad Allah, from the fruits of proper belief in the divine decree of Allah tabaraka wa ta'ala, it will be a means of protection from shirk in all of its various forms and manifestations. Because the person will know that la hawla wa la quwwata illa billah. There's no movement, nor might, nor power except by way of Allah tabaraka wa ta'ala. So it will be a means of protection for you from associating a partners with Allah tabaraka wa ta'ala in any of its manifestations and forms. The great scholar, Sheikh Muhammad ibn Salih al-Uthaymeen, he mentioned, in kulla insan i'tamada ala sababin. He said that every time a person, he places his trust and reliance upon a sabab, upon a means of something, which the legislation itself is not made to be a means, then that person will be a mushrik who has committed minor shirk. So when you begin to believe in affairs that Allah Ta'ala has not legislated, you begin to believe in superstition and the likes of that, and you begin to place stock in these affairs, and you begin to rely upon these affairs, the person who does so, Shaykh Uthaymeen mentioned, is a mushrik, shirkan asgar, who has committed minor polytheism. And the fallacy of superstition will become clear to you. Once you have proper belief in the divine decree of Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala, you will see the fallacy of superstition, and that which many of the people today connect themselves to. For example, from amongst the affairs that people connect themselves to, and you find frequently rolling upon the tongues of the people, is the belief in what they refer to as feng shui. This belief in feng shui, it is a belief that harmony and balance result from the manipulation and channeling of non-physical forces and energies, which are referred to as qi. And this balancing of this qi is done, for example, by way of setting things up a particular way inside of your home, so that it brings good energy inside of your home, this qi, and thus it sets in order the feng shui of your home, and thus good fortune will be able to come to you. This is shirk, ibad Allah. It is shirk. And likewise, that which is connected to this day of ours, Friday the 13th, or the number 13 in general. You find many of the people, they believe that there's an ill omen in connection to the number 13 or the day of Friday the 13th. And they have all types of justifications for that. Amongst them, they say that Judas, he was the 13th guest at the Last Supper, and Isa was crucified on a Friday. And as a result, you find many of the people, they will not sit in the 13th seat on an airplane, or they will not occupy the 13th floor in a hotel and buildings. And they deem Friday to be a day of ill omen. Allah Ta'ala mentioned in the side of his book, مَا لَهُمْ بِهِ مِنْ عِلْمٍ إِلَّا اتِّبَاعَ الظَّنِّ. And they have no knowledge of that whatsoever, except that they are only following conjecture. وَمَا قَتَلُوهُ. And they did not kill Isa in reality. He was not even crucified, as we know. Likewise, there's a superstition connected to the affair of opening an umbrella indoors, opening an umbrella indoors. For umbrellas at their origin, they were used to protect the people from the sun and not from rain. So the people believe that to open an umbrella indoors was an insult to the sun god. And so they connected a superstition to that. Likewise, there's the affair of knocking up twice upon wood to reverse bad luck. And the origin of this ibadah, it dates back to a time wherein some of the people believe that gods lived in trees. So to ask the gods for a favor, the people will go to that tree and knock twice softly upon that tree to invoke that god. And likewise, the affair of crossing fingers to repel bad luck. This affair, ibadah, has its origin with the Christians, who would cross their fingers to invoke the power of the cross and thus ward off evil from themselves. And likewise, the affair of walking under a ladder. It was believed at one time that under a ladder, it was the triangle of life. So to walk under that ladder upset the evil spirits. It would bring bad luck upon you. And likewise, the affair of stepping upon a crack. As we used to say, you step on a crack, you do what? I don't got to finish it. There's a superstition connected to that as well, because it was believed that cracks upon sidewalks, cracks on floors, and cracks in walls signified gaps in the boundaries between the earthly realm and the metaphysical realm. And likewise, this last affair, ibadah, you find many of the Muslims even speaking with this, the affair of karma. The affair of karma. This is an affair, ibadah, it is a major aspect of Hinduism and Buddhism. And it states that karma was created as a divine system of justice that is self-governing and infinitely fair. And it automatically creates the appropriate future experience based upon the energy that a person gives out through actions, thoughts, and statements. And so it can even extend to the next life by way of reincarnation. So if a person is a good person, in his life he'll be reincarnated as something good. He's an evil person, he'll be reincarnated as a donkey or some type of animal, and the likes of that is polytheistic in its origin. Ibadah, proper belief in the divine decree will protect you from all of that. You will not find the one who believes in Allah's divine decree properly making the like of such statements or even putting any stock whatsoever in any of these affairs. He will be firm in his heart. He will be a person of Tawheed. As Ibn Abbas, he said that Qadr, that the divine decree, it is the organizational structure of Tawheed. So therefore, the stronger your Tawheed is, will be determined by way of the stronger your belief is in the divine decree. And the opposite is true. May Allah Ta'ala protect us from all of these polytheistic affairs. May Allah Ta'ala make us firm in our hearts. May He make us from those who believe properly in the divine decree. Ibadallah, I remind all of you to remember your brothers and sisters in Palestine, in Gaza. Remember them in your supplications. And no doubt, Ibadallah, our hearts are connected to them. And this is because the Messenger of Allah said, مَثَلَ مُؤْمِنِينَ فِي تَوَدِّهِمْ وَتَرَاهُمِهِمْ وَتَعَاطُفِهِمْ. The example of the believers in their mutual love for each other and their mutual mercy and the emotional tie and connection which they have to one another is like that of one solid body. If one part of that body ails, the entirety of that body feels the effect of that ailment in sleeplessness and fever. So no doubt we are pained by way of what our brothers and sisters are going through. But we do not let our emotions drive our tongues. We don't let our emotions drive our tongues, ibadallah. Safeguard your tongue and wait for your ulama to speak. And when they speak, you say what they say. Don't precede them, ibadallah, by way of saying things that are not right, saying things that you have no precedence for, having bad thoughts about the Muslims. Rather remember your brothers and your sisters in your dua and ask Allah to aid them against the enemy. Ask Allah Ta'ala to safeguard them in their homes and their livelihoods. Without doubt, they're going through it. Without doubt, they're going through it. And the kuffar who have control over the media, they're able to control a narrative so that pictures are being painted that is contrary to the truth. For wallahi, we know people that are on the ground and they are telling us the opposite. So without doubt, ibadallah, our hearts go out to our brothers and our sisters and we supplicate for them. And we wait for our ulama to speak. And when they speak, you better know they're going to speak with knowledge and they're going to speak at the proper time for them to speak. Because just as we trust them to speak, we trust that they know when to speak. And we're not going to precede them in that speech. May Allah Ta'ala protect our brothers and our sisters. May Allah help them and aid them against the enemy. May Allah Ta'ala make them firm. Allah Ta'ala knows best. هذا وصلى الله وسلم وبارك على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين وآخر دعوانا أن الحمد لله رب العالمين وقوموا لصلاتكم.